Boom. Yeah, getting cabinets right now. Thought I was gonna have to come back, but never mind. We're good.
So is this a whole set of cabinets? Pretty cool.
Perfect timing. Yeah, I didn't have to have my project manager out here. I just signed off, and this was actually completely shattered. It was like one of the old black doors. So
yeah,
we put a new one in here. We were doing some PPC, which is Google Ads. Those are expensive here in Vegas, but you could get some deals off of that as well.
All right, Vlad, what's going on with this one?
Yeah, so this is Chicago Avenue. This one is kind of a standard flip for us, 3-2, 1,200 square feet, just about. And this was a big problem for us at first. It was a hoarder house, not a hoarder house, squatter house. There were some squatters in here.
Oh, how do you get a squatter out?
Well, I didn't have to get them out, thankfully, but what ended up happening was I actually went and viewed this property about 2.5 months before I bought it. So 2.5 months before I bought it, came here. The seller lived in Nashville, Tennessee. He was a lawyer. He's like, I'm just gonna flip it myself. Never mind, your offer's too low. So I was like, okay. But I kept following up. And apparently sometime between when I saw it and later on when we bought it, there was actually a squatter that moved in here. They moved in all their furniture, started getting unemployment to the house. They hooked up to the neighbor's electricity and were taking that. So they were some advanced squatters. But apparently, he didn't want to deal with it. They ended up getting him out with the police and stuff like that. But I bought it, and he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to sell it. I don't want to deal with the rehab. I was like, okay, but I didn't know anything about the squatters. So I ended up coming. There's all this new furniture. They've got like hammers and stuff all around the house. And I was like, yo, what happened? And they're like, yeah, there's a squatter in here. They just got, kicked out like a week ago. So I was like, oh, wow, look at that. That's crazy.
So what'd you end up picking this thing up for?
We picked this one up for $240.
So you picked it up for $240. What's the ARV on this?
So this one, the ARV, we've got it listed at $345.
Okay.
$345. We're a bit high. I think we should sell probably around $330, $335. Listed high just to see what we get. But the thing is, right as I listed it, 5 other flippers listed in this area too. So now we're competing with them. That's the tough part about flipping. You've got 5 other flippers, so obviously they see kind of what we're comped at. So we've got another one that just listed for $335, very similar specs. So now if they sell at that, we'll probably have to drop to $335, which is
now you
fine.
said something important, and this should be important for you guys. What he was saying is follow up, and I think that's a pretty big key because once you get a lead like that, you may not get the deal right away, but what you did was consistently follow up to see exactly where he was. Now, when you do your follow-ups, do you follow up every week, or how do you set that up to know when to follow up?
Yeah, so I have follow-up sequences that I set for kind of different leads, like something like this, where his house was trashed and his previous tenants just trashed the house. I knew that he needed to sell to somebody at some point, or he was just going to do the renovation himself, and then great for him. But for somebody like that, I was following up with them every 2 weeks. Hey, come on, are you going to sell it? Like, are you ready? Or is the rehab going? How's the rehab going? And he was just not serious about it. The rehab wasn't. Nothing was happening, and essentially the squatter moved in. So
it sounds like you have some sort of database. You have like a CRM that you put all this information into to do your follow-ups? Yeah,
I have a CRM where every time a lead comes in, we have that initial conversation, then we put them into a follow-up, whether that's a month, whether they're not ready to sell. Maybe we follow up in 6 months. They're just not motivated at all. We'll still reach out 6 months from now. It's not a dead lead, but not anything that's going to happen anytime soon. And then we've got the weekly follow-ups, or follow-ups with people every 2 weeks, where we're going to get it. It's just a matter of time.
Okay. So what did you guys do, or explain to me what this actually looked like on the outside, and what did you guys actually do?
Yeah, so we actually didn't do too much on the outside. The outside was actually in pretty good shape. The roof is new, so the roof is newer. We obviously painted it. This rock wasn't here. This was actually tore up dirt, so we got a ton of rock. We put it down here and kind of made it a little bit more like desert, mature landscaping versus what it was before. There was some really, really nasty bushes and trees, so we cut those down just to kind of open up the area. And The backyard we actually left as is. That was a big
Do you normally do that on the flips for like dollar cost per average or?
Yeah. So what we usually do is just we look at comps, and there was comps selling with just the dirt backyard.
Okay.
So we were like, hey, we should be realistically just be able to sell. Why over improve? That's a big key. Don't over improve properties. You got to look at kind of what's selling in the area, and just do that as well.
So what you're saying is you look at the comps, you see what's selling, what the price is, the condition of the property.
Yep.
Then you may just do a slightly better, right?
Yep.
Just cleaner, but obviously you're shopping around for cabinets and certain things.
Yep.
And the reason why I bring this up is because you could have left this all dirt, or you could have put grass in here, which probably would have cost you more money, right? Yep. But you just went with the rock, and it still looks clean, right?
Yeah, it looks clean.
Yeah,
looks clean. It doesn't look bad. It didn't look great before, so that was the thing. Whenever we were looking, hey, backyard, front yard, we're like, the backyards are selling with dirt, but front yards are usually a little bit more clean. So we can't really sell this if it's doesn't have the curb appeal. So we definitely need to add some curb appeal, and that should do it.
Now, and that's what I noticed, because when I pulled up here, you can tell the home was painted. It was just something about the home where your eyes just drawn to a brand new home that has a fresh coat of paint.
Yep, it just pops. It pops a little bit, so that's super important. And I usually like doing the red door. My project manager always gives me grief about it, but I like doing it. Yeah, it pops, and then it obviously.
You know what they say about the red doors, right?
What do they say about the red doors?
If you Asian, man, it's all about the money coming in.
There we go. There we go.
So this looks like, is this vinyl?
Yep, luxury vinyl plank.
Okay.
Yep.
So it looks like you pretty much use all the same materials, because on the other townhome,
I have the exact same contractor on the other one as well. So we're using very similar or the same materials. It differs a little bit based off kind of what's available, especially right now with material shortages. They'll be like, oh, we're out of this. So, you just pivot, you do something else. Okay. This one, as you can see, it's kind of like a tannish paint. Before we used to do like very gray walls. So I kind of wanted to lighten up a little bit, and we did like a tan in here. We did something new on this one that I've never done before.
What was it?
It was painting the cabinets, actually. So we ended up sanding them and painting them versus getting brand new cabinets. And it works for this area. We ended up painting them, just putting new hardware, new hinges and stuff like that. And at this price point, below $350 for this area, it's very standard, because we saw, once again, a few of the other comps doing it. Never done it before, but I was like, hey, let's try it out. So
what would it cost you to replace all the shakers, right?
Yeah.
Versus just painting it?
So we saved about $4,000.
Wow.
With our prices. So we saved about $4,000, which is great. And everything is a learning experience. So whether that is gonna help us on the resale, obviously it's not selling right now at this point, but like I said, we have a lot of competition in the area, about 5 flips.
But you got enough room where you can reduce the price and still make money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the thing. We listed a little bit high. I've got room to reduce price and still make money. Obviously, if it sold at list, that would be sensational, fantastic. But that's not the case. It's been sitting, so we'll probably have to do a price reduction here at some point. But that just comes with flipping. Not everything's
now, when do you know when to do that price reduction?
So usually you want to let it be patient, not overreact. It's kind of hard to do right now because, especially I know sellers are like, we don't have an offer within 2 days. The market's so hot, but the market's, stabilizing a little bit. So you're not going to get those, offers every 2 days, the first 2 days, essentially. On other flips, I've had 10, 15 offers within the first 24 hours, and this one, obviously not the case. So you got to wait, a week, 2 weeks before you reevaluate the price and price reduction and kind of look at what's selling.
You ever get paranoid like with the carrying costs and all the fees, because every single month you got this carrying cost, and it just comes to a point where like, dude, I gotta sell this thing? Yeah,
I haven't had that problem yet. Obviously this one is sitting longer than my previous ones, but at the end of the day, everything's budgeted in. I know I have the carrying capacity to be able to do it. Obviously it cuts into profit if you let it sit. Carrying costs are, if it sits for longer than we anticipated, obviously that cuts into profit, but it's not something I really stress
about. Now, I want to go back to when you got your first deal, you did the hard money, okay? Explain what hard money is, and how do you find the right hard money guy? Because there's so many services out there with all different type of fees. So how do you go about finding something like that?
So finding a hard money lender, I would just say use, once again, referrals. Referrals are so powerful. Just, finding out what other people who other people use. And with hard money, people are going to be a lot more lenient than with contractors in terms of giving you, exactly who they use. Because they have a good relationship with them, or so on and so forth. So talk to other flippers, see who they like, what kind of rates are they getting, how many, what's their experience level? Is that based on their experience? What are the requirements? That's a great way to do it. And a hard money lender is essentially just a lender that is different than a mortgage lender. They lend on the asset itself. So they lend on the property. They don't really care so much about you as the borrower. They really care about the deal. So if it's a good enough deal and they realize, hey, you're buying it under market value, really the appraised value is going to be a lot higher than this, but you're getting a good deal on it. We're going to lend it to you based on the asset, because we know if you default and if you're not able to pay this, we're essentially going to get this house at a really, really good deal, and we'll still be able to make money.
And they can just fire sale it, right?
Exactly. They can fire sell it and break even, or renovate it. Who knows?
So give me an idea of what the rates are right now, as far as the closing costs with hard money, and also points, right? And explain what points are and how much you got to put down.
Yeah. So right now I'm putting about 10 to 15% down on my deals. So that on this one I believe.
Is it 15% down of what you're borrowing?
Yes, 15% of what you're borrowing. But usually it's close to the purchase price, because you have that down payment subtracted, but you also have the rehab costs added. So it's like it'll be very close to kind of what you're purchasing at. This one, if you have 15% down, but then we had a $35,000 renovation budget, it just gets added back on, and I think our loan on this one is like $230.
Okay, so the money to rehab it, that's not coming out of your pocket. That's part of.
It is not. No. So it's actually in the loan itself. They don't give it to you up front. They want to keep it. They want to make sure you're actually doing the work and you're not just pocketing the money and doing whatever.
So how do you get the money from escrow then to pay for it, or do you just fork it all up front?
So what they do is they give you the money, but they keep the draws. So what you'll do is you'll rehab the property, and then you can request as many draws as you want. So usually I don't like requesting too many draws, because that requires either sending pictures or having them bring a third-party inspector to come make sure you did the work. So what I usually do is midway through and then at the end. So you've got to have a little bit of money saved up for the rehab as well. So on this one, I believe we did 15 grand. We did 15 grand of work. And then I told them, hey, I did 15 grand of work. Check out these pictures. Once they checked the pictures out, they said, you sure did do 15 grand of work. Here's your 15 grand back.
So let's just say you got 30 grand to play with, your draw. You go on the first, so you do the first 15, then the last 30. But then let's just say it takes you 90 days for completion. You're into day 45. How do you pay your contractors and your materials? Do you get the draw first to pay for the materials? No. So what I do is I use my own money to pay. So you would have to either have a private lender, maybe somebody gets you some money, or you use your own cash to pay the materials up front. And at that point, whenever you get the draw, you kind of reimburse yourself almost. But in terms of rates on hard money, I know you asked that, I kind of skipped right over it, but right now rates are always anywhere from like 8 to 12%. Points can be anywhere from 1 to 3 points. 3 is very expensive. You want to stay 2 points or less, and a point is just 1% of the total loan amount. So a loan that is $200,000, a point will be $2,000, 2 points will be $4,000. So you pay that up front whenever you get the loan. That's the cost of you doing business with that lender. You pay the 2 points, $4,000 up front, and then you're paying the lender monthly interest until you sell and pay off your principal balance. So it's better. Is it better to go hard money or private money? It's always great to go. Well, it depends. I mean, who has the best rates? I know some hard money lenders have really, really great rates, but they're never going to fund 100% of the deal. They're going to want you to have some skin in the game, whether that's 10%, 15%. Very rare that a hard money lender will lend the whole thing. Versus a private lender, first of all, they're a lot more negotiable. You can negotiate whatever percentage you want with them. You can even negotiate no points, maybe just interest only. And sometimes they'd be willing to fund the entire thing. All right, let's go take a look down here. What do we have down here?
Absolutely. So this one is, like I said, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. This is standard for us. A 3-bed, 2-bath is kind of, you know, what we're usually working with. We did, you know, we painted the cabinets right here as well. And then we usually do the carpet in the bedrooms.
Oh, this is nice.
Carpet in the bedrooms, and you know, we keep it nice and clean. Okay. We had all the squatters were living right here and right there, and we thankfully didn't have to deal with them. A big worry for me on this house was essentially them moving back in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if we, you know, that's also a big cost of flipping. If you're renovating, here I'll let you go through. If you're renovating and all of a sudden, you know, somebody moves in and breaks some windows, you have some unexpected expenses. Yeah. That's going to cut into your profit.
You know what I noticed? A lot of flip companies, one thing that they will not add, well, a couple things: the refrigerator, washer, and the dryer, and also the glass.
Yeah,
that's one thing I've learned.
On this one, the glass is expensive.
It is.
So usually we're not adding them on these. Once you get into, you know, higher price points like $400,000 and above,
then you gotta
we add them. Yeah.
Okay.
So it really depends, like, you know, price point wise, kind of what you're working with. The buyer on something like this, they're not gonna say, oh, you know what, the bathroom's, you know, make or break, no glass. But somebody that's at a higher price point may say, hey, you know, I'm paying $500,000 for this house. Where's the glass at? So that's kind of the big difference.
So if we sold this home today at the price you're asking for, how much are we making on a profit on this deal?
About $42,000 on this one.
$42,000?
$42,000.
And how long did it take you to get to where you're at today with this property? How many days?
So with this one, in terms of renovations.
Yeah, renovations.
Renovations, it took us 4 weeks.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
Wow, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, our renovations are quick. Usually 4 to 5 weeks is kind of standard for us. For everything to get done, carpet, baseboards, cabinets, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I just did my first flip, and I think I'm still in it for like 3 months.
Yeah. Are you doing? What's the price point on that?
So I bought this one at 110. I'm into it now for total 160 out the door.
Okay.
But I overdid it.
Okay.
And I'm talking about overdid it.
Yeah, you
So I mean, I could have probably saved like $15,000 more in my pocket, but home right now. The condo right now is selling for about $245 to $250. Okay. So I mean, there's still a big cushion of profit. However, I could have saved more money, but it was kind of like, you know, learning process.
Yeah,
as I was going
for
through
sure.
it,
That was a big thing for me as well. Yeah. Whenever you're rehabbing, you always you're like, if I lived here, you know, what would I want? But at the end of the day, you just have to make sure that, first of all, you know, it's good quality work, but you're not living here. You know what I mean? You have to do what the buyer would want you to do, and so. You know, sometimes that means not over improving, and it's hard to do like starting out. But I've kind of gotten better and better learning it as I go. I
mean, there's some things that I wouldn't have done, but it's a learning process.
Always.
So let's go take a look at this backyard, because this is a pretty big backyard, right?
It's
huge. A lot of these homes out here,
they've
got really big lots.
It's huge, and that's the reason that we decided not to really do anything with it, because it was going to be a huge cost, and at the end of the day, it wasn't going to be much different from essentially, you know, the comps that we're selling. So this would literally be over improving for us. It would be a huge expense, and ultimately not really raise the value. Would it probably sell a lot quicker? Yeah. Yes, it would. But at the end of the day,
you're cutting into your profit.
We're cutting into the profit, and somebody, you know, moves in. They don't have to do anything to the house. You know, they can maybe focus on the backyard, and you know, if we have to, you know, price drop or credit or something like that, maybe they could use that towards backyard money, whatever works.
You're to the point where you're doing more and more deals. You're having people helping you make cold calls and all this stuff. How do you take it to the next level as far as scaling? Like, when do you know when to scale to the next level?
I'm ready. I'm ready to scale. Right now, scaling means a team. Scaling means having people and replicating yourself in different processes and stuff like that. Up to this point, you know, you could do a lot of business and you could be very, very successful hustling, which is exactly what I've done. But if you want to run a legitimate business, legitimate operation, you've got to have people in the right seats. You've got to have, you know, the sales department. You've got to have a project management department. You've got to have different kind of, I want to say departments that do different things that can help you. You know, do the tasks that you do on the day-to-day basis. Okay. So that's next level.
Now, if you can share one thing with the audience, just that little golden nugget, what would it be?
Never overthink, you know, about starting, especially. just, fail forward, fail often. You're not going to know everything. So a lot of people, the way they want to start out is, they want to learn everything first. And then they're like, once I learn everything, that's when I'll be ready. But truth is, you're honestly never going to learn everything. You're never going to know what you don't know until you do it. So you do it, and then you kind of realize what the things you don't know, and that's the beautiful thing about business. You figure it out as you go. So that would be a big piece of advice. Just go, fail forward. And another piece of advice is find a mentor. Find somebody that you really look up to, and maybe work for them for free. Find a way to add value to them, because that's how I started. I couldn't have done this by myself. I had no idea. So the way I did it was I hustled, and I found a mentor for myself, and ultimately added value to them and added value to myself as well.
Look, man, I just want to say I really do appreciate you taking the time to share your story and, share with the audience how things work. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And also, you got an Instagram account, right?
I do. At THE, the Vlad, VLAD, Plot, PLOT. And I'm super active on there. I'm always posting stories, posting different stuff. So, you reach out to me, let me know. And I'd love to help new people. Love to do deals with other people. Okay. So,
and we got a YouTube account.
YouTube, yeah.
And you're going back on YouTube again.
Back on YouTube, yeah. I was going hard on the YouTube, and then I got busy. I was finding that I was focusing too much on the YouTube, not enough on the business.
Yeah.
That's kind of a delicate balance you've got right there. So I was like, hold on, we gotta go make some money. So I kind of laid off the YouTube, but we're jumping back on it.
Okay. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a link in the description below. So if you guys want to get a hold of him, and as far as like partnering up, I'm sure you'd be interested in private money, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to have a link in the description below, and also on the YouTube channel. If you guys want more content like this, let us know in the comments below. Other than that, till next time, peace.
Peace.